Hello and welcome to Driven by Doing. Today we have Santosh Swamy from India. Santosh, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Venki.
So I've seen your profile again on LinkedIn, and it was quite amazing that your research in the AgTech, and I definitely wanted to deep dive how you found your passion in the agriculture area, and let's go back to your childhood and tell us
Mm.
your story and how you got started and how did you get into agriculture.
It would be great, Venki, because even when I look back to my childhood, whenever I was a kid, I used to go to my village for the vacation, and also I used to visit farms and see people doing the works in the farm, sowing seeds, harvesting crops. So it was so amazing. It was so overwhelming. So at that time, I also used to get into the field, and means it was an instant connect for me with the nature and the plants. So it was that time in the childhood that I decided that I would definitely do something in the agriculture. And later on, I did my schooling, and I found out that there is a stream called agriculture wherein we will get to learn about plants. We will be learning about agriculture. So I felt this is great. I'm definitely going to do that. And once I was into agriculture, I thought, let us do some specialization. Let us be some specialist wherein means become a scientist or something where we'll be answering so many problems and solutions that are occurring in agriculture. And now the agri-tech, that is latest happening thing. So I said, let us improve further and add much technology and mechanization into the farm, which will help and benefit the farmer at a larger scale and the community and the nation.
It was amazing that how your small stories going back to your grandparents' home and working in these farms have really unveiled a lot of potential for you and understanding. Hey, this is a great area which really sparked that passion for you. And a lot of students or a lot of professionals might not find out that early and what they really wanted in their careers for the rest of their lives. And you're in fact very lucky to kind of have that exposure. And in fact you also told me a while ago that even though you didn't get a lot of great marks in your
Mm,
higher
mm,
education, I mean when you're in high school, but that didn't really stop you from getting or achieving what you really wanted in this space. And
yeah,
sometimes people who might be listening, they might be thinking, hey, I didn't have this or that and I didn't really score this, but I couldn't get there. That didn't really stop you. So what were you thinking at that stage when you're trying to get into agriculture? And did you have any mentors who helped you and guided you in that area? So do you have any parents who are
mm.
from that space?
Yeah, exactly. Means my whole means my forefathers were into agriculture. We have means fields and they used to work business. So my father was in an army, but he also, whenever he used to come back to home, he was also always used to take us to farm fields, getting up on the trees, kind of thing. So when I told him that I am really interested to get into agriculture, but I am not sure. I mean, so whether my marks will support me to get into there. Then he patted me and said, look, son, if you really want to achieve something and do something, God will help you. And definitely you'll achieve something only if you pursue that passion. If not today, tomorrow you can get that. So it was like a motivation from my father, which pushed me again into this thing. And I prepared very well for the entrance exam, and I was surprised that I was in top 100 in the of that list. I never thought that I could make it, but it was all the passion, and really I wanted to get into that stream that pushed me to break my own barriers.
That's awesome. So now you completed your bachelor's in that space. And how did you get your
Mm.
first opportunity? Because sometimes, yes, we have got the passion, but getting that first opportunity is also very crucial. And sometimes it's the most difficult thing. So tell us your
Yes, yes.
story. How did you get your first opportunity?
Yeah, you were telling about the job or
Yes.
yeah, job. Yeah, after my graduation, I also did my post graduation. That was a specialization in agricultural microbiology and soil microbiology, which deals with completely soil microorganisms, different pathogens, and beneficial organisms. So my first offer was immediately after completion of my post graduation, there was an interview call from a big multinational company, the ITC, which is a dream company for many of us in India because it is one of the top companies working in the agri field. So it was means I applied like all other people. So there were some 20 candidates selected for that interview, and I just means showed my passion for agriculture, and among the 20, I was the one selected, and they said that you are really very passionate about agriculture, and we need candidates like you. So it was not that tough for me because it was a natural thing that was flowing, and I got a first breakthrough. And here I am in the same ITC company, which is doing a wonderful job. And for past 15 years, I am working with farmers all across the nation. So starting from Rajasthan to Kerala, different crops, different linguistics, different crops. So it's a very enriching experience for me.
That was amazing story, Santosh. How you got into your opportunity at ITC? Because for listeners who don't know what ITC is, it's a multinational company, isn't it? Which has
Yeah. It's
a
a multinational company.
yes, so it
Mm.
has a great footprint, especially in India, and they have done tremendous job over the years. And for the lot of students in India, ITC is a dream company, and it was a dream company of
Yes.
yours as well. And now you're a director at ITC, and an agricultural scientist. Tell us your experience at ITC for the past 15 years, because for a lot of
Mm.
people, and especially the generations now, it's very hard to stay in the same company for more than 3 to 5 years. But what
Yeah.
inspired you while you're working at ITC to stay there to learn? Because and I think you went to various places across India to help farmers. Tell us your story at
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, see, means once we get into ITC, means to tell about the company, it works in the various fields like procurement of various agri produce and making the finished means FMCG products out of that. We have chips, staples, then juices. So all this, they need a backend support wherein we directly connect with the farmer, and means if farmer has to connect with the company, he is also has to be benefited. So what we do is we give them custom-based solutions wherein they can enhance their yields and quality and reducing the cost of cultivation. And IT gives them a premium of if they are not using chemicals. Nowadays, in all of the agriculture, a lot of chemicals and pesticides go into. So what we do is we work out the various solutions where they can use less pesticides and less chemical fertilizers, yet they get a good yield, wherein we get a good quality produce which we use in our products. So our products sell at a premium, and we also export a lot of the produce like pepper, turmeric, cumin, wheat, soya. All this means whatever we grow in, we call the terminology called IPM. It is integrated pest management because when we are growing crops, lot many pests and diseases do come. To control that, the farmers apply pesticides and chemicals. So here at ITC, what we are doing is we give them various other natural options like use of a neem leaf decoction kind of a thing, or a homemade tonic which would control or deter the insects and disease, which is very cheap and it's available on the farm. So he will be controlling the pest and disease as well. He will be getting a better yield. So if he apply any pesticides or chemically, he has to incur money, and again those toxicants will result in the product which when we test it will fail for the export market. So we build around solutions, farmer friendly, eco friendly solutions to control these pest and disease. And it's a learning process because initially I was working on one or two crops, then we expanded to other crops, moving to other neighboring states. More farmers get interested because other seeing that other farmers are getting benefit and they are saving costs. So more and more farmers get connected. So now if we means see, there are around 15 to 20 million farmers who are connected with us now, and they are happy, we are happy, company is growing. So it's a great thing to do.
That's awesome, because you're helping a lot of farmers, and in fact, always discovering some new ways to do farming, and I see a lot of great videos that you post on LinkedIn about farming and how doing just researching in this area and how people are able to multiply the yield based upon the
Yeah.
new things that they were trying to experiment with. And do you have any recent instance that you came across where you are able to employ any new methods that are really helping farmers?
Yeah, means see, means like in the chili pepper, this leaf curl virus is very common, which comes due to a vector called white fly. So it spreads like rapid fire, and all the plants will be stunted, and it will not be growing quite well. The fact of the matter is the virus doesn't have a cure. If we had a cure for the virus, our age and this COVID would have got a vaccine, but that's not the case. Even in the plants, when the virus do infect, there is no cure. You have to live it. But when we studied the literature and found out more of the scientific stuff, we found that spraying of milk and sugar, simple milk and sugar, would reduce the multiplication of those virus in the leaf. And again, and the whitefly is easy to control. Applying a yellow sticky trap or growing some yellow flowers nearby will trap those white flies. And application of this milk and sugar, a simple milk and sugar which you can get in a grocery shop, if you spray on the crop, the virus spread is being controlled. So this is a wonderful solution. We tracked and found out. We tried in a field of a 2 hectare field. It was controlling. So immediately in within weeks, the entire 15 to 20 villages took up this, and it was a massive hit. People were calling us, asking, "This is a great solution." Means it is spreading like thing. So good things spread like that, and it's very cost effective. You need not have to buy a costly chemical or something. So simple solutions are there in nature. We just have to find them and use it.
Wow. So such a simple solution I mean, anybody might not have ever thought of, but
Mm-hmm.
continuous experimenting and continuous discovery. And sometimes it's very exciting to learn that how simple solutions can really help farmers. Because
Yeah.
my dad, he loves farming, and every time he has time, I remember my old
Mm.
days, I mean my childhood, where he always used to go to farms, and he always likes planting plants. So it was just amazing how people, especially, I mean, most of the people are from villages, right? So even though now
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are moving to cities, but everybody has a background in the agricultural space, especially after 20, 30 years back, and that's
Mm.
where most people are, even
Mm.
before urbanizing all these areas. So again, coming back to your education, Santosh, you just
Yeah.
completed your PhD, and now you're a data science, I
Yeah.
mean, not a data scientist,
That.
but
That.
an agricultural
Mm.
scientist. So what was your experience? Because you're continuously learning and evolving yourself. So
Yes.
how did you learn about hey, this is what I really wanted to do in microbiology? So that's what you did.
Mm.
So how did that
Mm.
help you in your current role?
Mm. Yeah, see, means life is a never-ending learning process. Means I do believe in that, and you have to keep upgrading yourself, or else you will become irrelevant in the this competitive market. And even means as a person, I keep learning and upgrading myself. So when I means after my post graduation, I was doing my job, everything was going smooth. Then I felt I'm not challenging myself much, and I wanted to do the upgradation. So while on job, I did this part-time PhD. So again, initially I was in microbiology. Then on job, I was getting training in pathology, entomology, agronomy, which are different fields of agriculture. So agronomy is crop production, entomology is dealing with insects, pathology is dealing with insects. So I was learning on job, and means, earlier when I joined, I was a specialist in microbiology, but now I am a generalist in agriculture. I know I am a jack of all subjects and all trades kind of thing. And a PhD I did in biotechnology and with more work of pathology, because pathology is very important, because when plants become diseased or sick, the whole yield reduce and things change. Like it's same like human. When we fall sick, we will not be able to perform better. Same thing happens in the crop. So this pathology and microbiology is very important because we know how to diagnose and how to treat the plant. So literally, we are the doctors for the plant. So I always wanted to be a specialist in that field because whenever I see a plant is diseased or sick, it makes me uncomfortable. I feel I should do something about that. So I selected that and I studied that. Now I'm a, doctor in that. So it was that I was wanted to do. So I finally achieved that.
Wow. Now you have become a doctor of plants for sure, and that was
Yeah.
amazing. How careers start with our passion, and then you we tend to learn
Mm,
throughout our experience.
mm,
And it was amazing to see how you got exposed to different areas. Now, as you also
yeah.
mentioned, like no, hey, like no, this is what I do, and there are a lot of different areas because a lot of
Mm.
listeners might be wondering, hey, like what is like you mentioned about plant pathology and microbiology, like agronomy,
Agronomy,
and
soil.
yeah, because we typically like especially in the technology area, we never hear about these terms, especially in
Mm.
the agriculture side. It was fascinating for me to kind of learn these different areas and what they really mean. Now you're a doctor of plants, and I'm sure like
Mm.
you are going to help so many plants surviving and thriving, and also farmers across India. And that was amazing. Now, for people who are listening, you
Mm.
found out your passion in the agricultural space. Now, what would
Yes.
you tell people who are trying to find out? Because a lot of people might be thinking, hey, I didn't really know what to do in my career. Now, based upon your experience, and you also mentioned how you got into ITC because you showed your
Mm.
passion and why you wanted to get into this area. So, a lot of
Yeah.
people might
Mm.
not be able to do that in a very early
Mm.
stages. What would you tell those professionals or students who are trying to find out what they really want
Mm.
and care?
Yeah, it's see, it's always very crucial and important to find out what your really passion is, but it's difficult most of the time. We don't know what to do because the peer pressure and the society is like that. Everybody wants to be an engineer or a doctor. They don't look beyond that. But what I feel is agriculture is very evolving and it's a great subject to and get passionate into. And if you have that liking for the plants and gardening kind of thing, you have that bent of mind. You can still refine it. And agriculture is such a great profession because we are feeding the whole world. And without food, there is no existence of any other profession. So, as they say, agriculture is mother of all culture. So, it is the most important profession to get into or the subject to opt for. And means to evaluate your passion, just go to the nearby villagers or farmer, lend you a helping hand, and watch out whether is it for me? Am I interested in this? If yes, then you can pursue your passion in the agriculture. And agriculture has got the fantastic opportunities here. During this COVID time, you might remember when everything was locked down. Nobody went to buy cars or gold or watches or mobile. Everybody run towards the grocery store to procure food, which is the ultimate thing. And food means agriculture. Without agriculture, the whole society will collapse. This is going to live till eternity. As long as the humans are there, agriculture would definitely be there. So this is the best profession to get into, and it gives you so much more energy to work because it is still means whatever we are doing, agriculture is still expanding. There are still so many new things are coming up, new things are happening. So it's a vast subject, vast area. So I think agriculture is, I mean, for me, it is, as I said earlier, it's the mother of all cultures. So agriculture, I would say if you are young, if you have passion for nature and agriculture, please do get into this field.
Mm. So your passion for nature is really what driving you, and Thanks for sharing that,
Yeah.
because like how to find out your passion is what this podcast is about, and you're truly driven
Mhm.
by doing and really taking your passion and really that driving you in your career and life. Because as you mentioned,
Yeah.
like I was listening to a lot of these videos on YouTube, which saying like, you know what, like agriculture is the future, and this is the area that a lot of people need to like really get into. Sometimes people might be, they want to do, they like nature, and sometimes they don't know
Mm.
what they can
Mm.
turn it into as their lifestyle
Yeah.
or as their career.
Mm.
So that was very
Mm.
interesting to hear from you. And sometimes, yes, they're passionate about nature, they're passionate about agriculture. Again, it's kind
Mm.
of the lack of opportunities might be a case
Yeah.
that might be
Mhm.
a roadblock or a barrier for them. So, what are the
Yeah.
opportunities when you go and get your bachelor's in the agricultural space, especially in
Mm.
India, around the world? Well, like, what are so those
Mm.
trends that you're seeing
Mm.
from a job perspective?
Yeah, definitely. See, when I joined back in 1999, when I did my bachelor's, so not much job opportunities were offered for agriculture graduates. But the time has evolved, time has changed. So many new agricultural multinational companies have established worldwide, and they're doing so fabulous jobs. And there is excellent and a broad opportunity for agri graduates. If you do your bachelor's in agriculture, you can get into food processing industry, you can get into agricultural chemicals, you can get into agricultural fertilizers, seed production, you name it. So there are so many opportunities arising. And even if you don't get anything, ultimately you can cultivate your own food. There is no other science that will teach you how to feed your own belly. So, but agriculture is that one. Means you will definitely so many opportunities are there, and part-time jobs are there because the labor is becoming short. Means throughout the globe there is a shortage for labor, and a qualified labor is everyone who is looking for. So if you are a graduate, there is a lot of companies, lot of people ready to hire you.
Mm. Thanks for sharing that, Santosh. And sometimes kids might have the passion in this space. Sometimes parents might not realize that,
Mm,
like,
mm,
how
yeah,
this industry is evolving, because they
mm,
might not be aware of all the things that's going on.
yeah,
And
mm,
sometimes that is also a barrier in some
mm,
ways, because they see a lot of engineers, a lot of doctors doing great in their careers,
mm,
and
yeah,
sometimes their kids might have the passion, but they might not be able to
mm,
pursue because of the pressure, or especially the social pressure. Like, we have this stigma of like, hey, if you're into agriculture, or like, hey, you're almost like, going backwards instead of like, going forward.
backward.
But
Yeah,
that's not true,
that's
right?
no, that's not true. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Actually, when you raise this point, let me tell you, on my LinkedIn, I get flooded with so many people, majorly from the tech background, like they are software engineers abroad or somewhere. They send me pictures of some plant which they are growing in their backyard, and they say, hey, I have got this problem. What solution I can do this? And there are many startups being started. Means I don't know about the Western hemisphere, but in India, there are so many startups have been started by the technicians. They are getting into hydroponics. They are doing farming. Many people are leaving jobs and taking lands and growing fruits. It's amazing to see that. Means I felt means they have wasted their valuable time running behind the money and technology. Had they identified that passion early on, by now they would have been a great farmer and doing amazing things.
So I have seen like a lot of stories, and I have seen also a lot of movies recently, which are like, really uh, promoting agriculture, and that was amazing to see. And I have seen stories, even though they came into a technology area, and after like 10, 15 years, they start to realize, hey, like, you know what, this is like, running after money sometimes is not what I really care about. It's about, again, going back to the roots and really
Yes, yes.
realizing what they could do with the potential that they have. So I think that that was amazing to see a lot of people pursuing their passions, no matter like, even though it is late. Sometimes
Mm,
every day is
mm,
a new start. right?
mm,
So
mm,
that's how people are really realizing, and a lot of people are even going back to India to really pursue this area. And I've seen a lot of
yes,
startups in this space as well, and especially the
yes,
city where I am in right now. It's called Memphis, Tennessee, here in the United States,
mm,
and it was known for a lot of agricultural startups recently. And there were a
mm.
few cities where we are seeing a lot of startups who are concentrating in this space. So what do you see, especially in India, from a startup space standpoint in the agricultural space? So, do ITC collaborate with any of these startups, and is there any way that they are trying to support these new products as well?
Yeah. Means see now most of the startups that have come into agri space in India are mostly technology driven or agri-tech based, and some are hydroponic, and some for connecting the farmer with the market and the farmer with the industry kind of thing. So we do take help of some startup, and we do some funding also. And the sector that we promote is connecting farmer with the industry or the market kind of thing, the supply chain logistics, that chain, and also the data collection and farm advisory. Means now a lot of startups have come. Earlier, if a farmer is facing certain pest or disease, he has to contact an expert. It's a painstaking thing. He has to take that sample to the lab, kind of thing. But now so many apps have come. You just click and you get the what it is, and the instant recommendation is there. Or else you can call them, video call them, and ask for the expert advice. And now evolution of technology, though, satellite imagery is helping to access what the pest and disease is, and drones are being used to spray the chemicals and whatnot. So all latest technology is being deployed into agriculture, and a lot of many startups are doing this. And big companies like ITC and other people, they take them as a service partner, and both are getting benefited, and farmer is also happy.
Great stuff, and especially it's always great to see startups in this area because that's where
Mm.
the real money is. In fact, agriculture
Yeah.
is as you mentioned earlier, it's going to be
Mm.
ever, forever,
Mm.
until the humans exist. And that was
Yes.
there is when you talk about the target market, who is the target market for your product? It's
Mm.
everybody on the planet, isn't it? So,
Mm. Yes.
and the target market is so huge that even a small product that can really help 0.001% of solving their problems is going to be a
Mm.
huge value add and
Yes.
a great potential.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely.
So, where do you want to go from here, Santosh, now that you have done your PhD and you got exposed to a lot of these great areas, which is truly
Yeah.
your passion? So
Mm.
where do you see yourself in the next few years, 5, 10 years in ITC, or what do you want to pursue next?
See now, actually, to be truthful, I have got an offer from a startup, Future Farm, which is being backed up a big MNC, and they are building a platform for all this farmer mechanization, digital platform for the farmers, service for the farmers. So I already have accepted this offer. I'll be leading a team of some 5 scientists, agronomists, a soil scientist, a pathologist, systematically. So I'll be leading the team, and and it will be a global position where I'll be operating for 120 countries. So we will be solving problems for 120 countries. So it's a very challenging job, and we already have started the work for building that platform. So it is a holistic approach wherein we are not looking at just one thing. We are looking at the farm inputs, then crop advisory, then increasing their yields, providing training to the farmers, and whatnot. So we are going in a full holistic way approach, and soon I'll be on board because I'm already in the notice period. It's ITC,
Okay.
and it's a challenging role, and which I was looking, because all this 15 years I got myself ready, learning firsthand what's happening in the agriculture. Now I'm in a position where I'll be leading a bigger team for a larger scale, and I hope I can justify that role.
Congratulations on your new role, and thanks for sharing that. Future Farm is your next company that you're going to lead
Yeah.
across like 120 countries. That was amazing, Santosh,
Mm.
because you have done a great job across India in like a lot of different states, and now that getting
Yes.
exposure to like a lot of global markets and really helping
Yes.
farmers all across the world. That truly
Mm-hmm.
is your like calling. I would say. I
Mm-hmm.
think. Just seeing how you got started and how your passion led to like again going through all the different
Mm-hmm.
phases in ITC, and now after a long 15-year career at ITC, like
Yeah.
tell us what was going through your mind like when you had to make that decision or transition in your career.
Yeah, see, actually, it was a tough decision to take because once you are associated with a company or organization for such a long period, it's like a close relation. You cannot let it go so easily. But it was a bit emotional for me to leave ITC. But when I saw it a larger picture, at ITC I am working for the Indian farmers, Indian society. Now the next role is much more challenging, much more demanding, wherein I have to sharpen my skills, I have to learn something, I have to unlearn some things, I have to relearn something. So learning is has always been a driving energy for me. I mean, I always keep reading, evolving, upgrading myself. So I felt in ITC I was reaching a certain stagnation or a stationary phase wherein much learning was not happening. So I thought this is the right time to move on, and I am doing this for the a larger betterment for the society at large, and also my personal benefit. I'll be getting a much better package, much better offers, kind of a thing. And yeah, it was emotional, but you have to make decisions sometimes. So it was the time.
Wow. So a lot of us who are listening might be thinking, hey, like what, making that next move is going to be difficult because working for such long years in one company, sometimes we get comfortable and it's very hard to
Mm.
make the decision. And sometimes we also
Yes.
need to trust our own gut to kind of really go with it because
Mm.
that's
Yes.
how we learn, right? So that's how
Mm.
you
Mm.
really unleash our true potential, and
Yes.
sometimes getting exposure to more markets, and that's how you felt is the right decision. I think
Mm.
thanks for sharing that. And do you have anything else to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I think most of the things I have shared, and I would say it's two things I would like to share. Like each for the younger generation, I would say inculcate two important habits. One is reading books and learning more things. Now the internet had made so simple. And for this lockdown period, I was in home for the past 4 months, so I thought I have to upgrade something myself. I have to learn something. So this all there are so many e-learning platforms like Coursera is there, Udemy is there, edX is there, so many. And you name the course, you have it on the internet. So I would suggest the youngsters to utilize the time and don't spend your time watching some movies or doing some random things. Invest in yourself, learn something, which will definitely help you in the longer run. Now, after 15 years, even if I don't learn, also I can survive. But I felt no, you have to keep learning new things, unlearn the old things. So as a fact, let me tell you that I have completed 14 online digital course in this 4 months, and which was really a great learning experience, which I couldn't learn in a year. I learned in 3 months. So it is available free, and many of the resources are free. I would suggest all the experts who are listening to this, please utilize those and read more books. See, for each book, that author might have spent 6 months to 1 year of his whole life in compiling that book. You can just spend a few days reading that book and you can acquire all that knowledge. So it's all that's all I would like to say. That to read more and invest in yourself.
Thank you so much, Santosh. It was my pleasure to getting to know you and your current role at ITC, and like your congratulations again and on your new role. I'm sure like you're
Yeah,
going to do some amazing jobs. And thanks for
thank
sharing
you.
your story on the podcast today. And I wish you all the very
Yeah.
best and in all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Venki. It was nice speaking to you and sharing all my thoughts. I hope this would be beneficial and useful for the listeners. And it was really great connecting to you. Hope we'll be connected for long. And
Absolutely.
we'll. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Santosh.